A number I didn't recognize. A voice I did. My wife's lawyer. His tone was smooth, professional, almost sympathetic. "Mr. Rahim, we've obtained a court order. Your wife is entitled to access the contents of your safe deposit box. She believes you're hiding assets connected to your inheritance." I didn't respond. I just watched the morning light crawl across my living room floor like it was trying to escape. He continued talking, something about compliance, legal obligation, consequences if I refused. I let him finish. Then I hung up. Not out of anger, not out of shock, but because everything inside me went very, very still. This wasn't unexpected. Nothing she did was, not anymore. The silence in my apartment felt surgical, clean, cold. It made thinking easier. So she finally made her move. The box. My inheritance. The story she'd rehearsed for months. A neat little trap she believed she'd arranged herself. I sat there for a long moment, pulse steady, breath flat, as the shape of the day sharpened in front of me like a blade. She wanted that box. She thought she knew what was inside. She thought the key she'd been hunting for would change everything. She had no idea the key was already in my pocket. And she had absolutely no idea that opening that box would end her. It had started quietly, the way betrayals usually do. A delayed return home. A softened tone when she texted someone else. A locked phone after years of openness. Small things, forgettable things. Except my mind doesn't forget. I'd noticed the way she lingered in the hallway after phone calls, how her voice lowered just slightly when she spoke to someone she didn't want me to hear. And then, the real shift. The day she came home smelling like someone else's cologne. Very faint, barely there, but unmistakable. I remember standing behind her as she hung her coat, my eyes on the back of her neck, watching the way she swallowed. Too fast, too tight. She didn't speak, neither did I. It was the silence that told me she was already gone. But I didn't chase the truth. I didn't demand explanations or start any messy fight she could twist around later. Instead, I let the suspicion sit, let it breathe, let it grow its own legs. Then the withdrawals started, little ones at first, transfers that made no sense, payments she couldn't explain without blinking too fast. Her lawyer's number appeared on our phone bill before I even knew she'd spoken to one. I watched each piece slide into place with slow inevitability, like a puzzle she didn't know I was assembling from the other side. She wasn't just cheating, she was planning her exit, and she was convinced she'd walk out richer than she walked in. That's when she began whispering about my secret inheritance, planting seeds, building a narrative designed to strangle me in court. She thought I'd panic. She thought I'd break. She thought she'd win. But betrayal has a way of sharpening a man, and sometimes it makes him quieter, much quieter. I started observing instead of reacting. Her phone left face down, so I memorized its vibration patterns. Her late nights out, so I tracked the lies in her timing. Her sudden interest in my bank statements, so I printed decoys for her to accidentally find. She didn't know I'd already copied her cloud backups, didn't know I'd run a data recovery on her deleted messages, didn't know the man she whispered to wasn't just a lover. He was the one advising her to take everything she could, including the inheritance my father left me, the one thing she thought she couldn't touch, until she found a legal loophole her lawyer believed would make her untouchable. I let them build their little case, let them draft their affidavits, let them collect screenshots and messages they thought would paint me as secretive, evasive, financially manipulative. I watched the web tighten around me, and I stayed perfectly still inside it. Because they weren't hunting me. They were walking into something I'd set long before they even suspected a game was being played. The safe deposit box was the final move. I knew she'd go for it. I counted on it. Every relationship leaves a trail. Every betrayal leaves a pattern. And every liar eventually believes their own script. She thought she was smarter, more strategic, more prepared. She had no idea I'd been preparing for this long before she ever decided to betray me. The evidence arrived on a Tuesday. Not the kind you get in an envelope or an email. The kind you watch with your own eyes. Her lover, her lawyer, her plan. All neatly documented, all time-stamped, all undeniable. I sat across from her that night, handing her a single sheet of paper, just one screenshot printed in clean black ink. A message she thought she'd deleted forever. Once I get the court order, his inheritance is ours. He's too naive to hide anything properly. She froze. Her breath thinned. Her eyes flicked up to mine, searching for anger. There was none. Just calculation. Just clarity. Just the quiet end of something that had died long ago. She whispered my name. A plea. A denial. A beginning of some excuse she hadn't formed yet. I didn't give her the chance. I stood, put the key to the safe deposit box on the table, and slid it toward her. Her hands shook when she picked it up. Not guilt, not regret. Fear. Real fear. The bank was silent when we arrived. Her lawyer walked ahead, full of confidence, already imagining whatever imaginary fortune she thought she'd stolen from me. She held the key like a trophy. I held nothing. The clerk opened the room. The metal drawer slid out. My wife inhaled sharply, anticipation burning in her eyes. She unlocked the box, lifted the lid, stopped breathing. Her lawyer leaned in. Then he jerked back like he'd touched a live wire. "Don't touch anything," he hissed, slamming the lid shut. His hands trembled. Because the box wasn't empty. It wasn't filled with money either. It was filled with evidence. Photos, messages, bank transfers, recordings, affidavits, everything. Not about me, about them. Her affair, their coordination, their fraud, their attempt to manipulate the court. All cataloged, all notarized, all admissible. Her lawyer slowly turned toward her, face drained of blood, understanding exactly what he had just walked into. She looked at me, lips parting like she wanted to beg. But I was already walking away. I didn't stay for her meltdown, didn't wait for the questions, didn't need to hear the excuses. Some endings don't require witnesses. Out in the cold hallway, I felt nothing. Not triumph, not relief, just release. The kind that comes when a storm finally stops pretending it's anything but a storm. She had taken everything she thought she could, but she never understood the one truth that mattered. I don't lose what I'm willing to let go of. As I stepped outside, sunlight hit my face. Soft, unimpressed, indifferent, just like me. And for the first time in years, my chest felt clear. Empty in the best possible way. I didn't look back. Stories like ours don't end with closure. They end with clarity. And clarity is the one inheritance she could never steal.